Hello and welcome to Vlog with a View. Oh, and happy St Patrick's Day as well, I'm forgetting of course. It's St Paddy's Day today, hence why I'm wearing, this is basically the only green item of clothing that's clean. The view today is from Antelope Park, which is a private game lodge in Zimbabwe. It's actually been about 10-11 days since my last video log. So I've actually enlisted the help of, this is a diary that Chelsea's friends gave her just before we left. I actually write in it as well. It's a really good way of remembering the small details about a trip that you'd otherwise forget. So this is a really good way, I think anyway, of being able to kind of note down those little details. And of course for the vlog, it's a great way of me being able to kind of remember and run over it, because I nearly always forget. Oh, also in the last vlog I did when we were in Malawi, I was moaning because I actually lost a pair of my sunglasses. So I've got a new pair of sunnies. They are legit Ray-Bans apparently. I mean, they're clearly not going to be legit, but for $5 I'm happy to live in naivety, I think. Blah blah blah. After I did that vlog, we hopped on the truck, headed to Candy Beach. The truck did kind of break down on the way there, so that was yet another thing that didn't go to plan. But we did get there in the end. It was late at night. During that day as well, we stopped off at a supermarket. Everyone kind of did a lucky dip thing out of a hat. We picked a name out of the hat, which was someone else on the trip, and we all had to spend $3. There's a load of mongooses here. Just see them. Just running along there. They're very observant, and I'm actually very lucky that they're so observant, because that's the only reason that they've been staying out. They're very curious, some of them more so than others, but I'm not complaining because it's helped me to get a good few shots. Got my bad luck shoes and every excuse to dance these blues away, ain't coming home. So yeah, apparently they want to be in Vlog with a View as well. So yeah, nice one, mongooses. So yeah, so we bought all of the outfits for fancy dress. Truck broke down, we still got there, that was good. We had really good food that night. Weirdly, there were a load of giant crickets. These things were like this big, I you not, they were huge. This is the biggest cricket I've ever seen. The next morning, Chelsea went for a horse ride. If you want me, you got to show me love. Words are so easy to say, but you got to show me love. While she was doing that, I went for a little bit more of a grizzly excursion. The local villagers had said they were going to do kind of a bit of a spit roast for us for that night, and one of the options was to actually go and see the slaughtering of the pig. Now obviously I'm not going to put any of the grisly details on the video. No one wants to see that. I didn't actually really want to see it. I did a little snippet just of the process and what I thought afterwards. So now they're kind of shaving it, getting ready to skin it. There we go, the finished article. How long does it take to cook?
We started around 9 o'clock, then it will be done around 6 o'clock.
Right, okay, so I'm just going to do a quick snippet on what the pig killing was like. It wasn't as quick as I thought it would be. What I thought would happen is that they stab it in the heart or something so it died quite humanely and quickly. As it turned out, they went to stab it in the heart, but they missed, which wasn't nice to watch. It actually made me feel a bit queasy, which I'm not used to. I was the only one of the group of 15 that actually did go to see it. I think the others were a bit squeamish, which is understandable. But I'm still glad I went to see it, even though it was a bit grisly, because in the UK, and obviously people say this all the time, I'm not the first person to say this, we're very much sheltered when it comes to meat packaging. You pick up a steak and you don't really think of the animal it came from, or if you think of the animal you don't think of the way it was killed. It shows the grisly reality of how some some people eat. You know, they'll raise an animal, catch an animal, they'll kill it, gut it, and make really good food out of it. You know, it was a bit of a stomach churning experience, I'm not going to lie. But it should be, you know, it shouldn't be something we're accustomed to. If it was, then I think we'd all be a bit inhumane, really. On the plus side, one of the villagers did teach me how to play the local board game, which is called the Malawi Bail game.
So I'm trying to empty your side, you
Right.
have to empty my side.
Go easy on me. 1, 2,
Yeah, but say
3.
vote. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1. 1, 2. Yes! And he made this board game for me. But what's quite funny, here there's a little scribble where clearly he's tried to do this for someone else before, and they've said actually we don't want the game, and so he's just reused it for mine. That was a bit cheeky, I guess, but that's Africa for you anyway. So that was one of the pluses I think that came out of the day. Later that day as well, there was a small island which is about 600 metres off the beach where we're staying. So me and Chelsea rented some snorkel gear and swam out there. Now I was quite impressed because I'm a really bad swimmer, as Chelsea will tell anyone. I can't swim for so I think I did really well just staying alive and not drowning. Snorkeled for a good couple of hours and looked at all of the kitlid fish. Now kitlid fish are freshwater fish, which is just endemic to Africa, and all of the ones in Lake Malawi are thought to have evolved from one species of fish that arrived in the lake a couple of million years ago and just diversified into the 500 odd species that are there today. And then that evening was the evening that we all dressed up in the get-up. So everyone traded the outfits they bought for everyone else. Right, so it's about time for the pig roast, and we're going to have a little bit of a party apparently. There's a punch bowl made up, get a bit of alcohol flowing, and have a good time. I thought maybe this is what dressing up for a party would be like, you know, in a bit of a tropical area. Apparently not. This isn't what dressing up for a party looks like in Malawi.
I can't do sexy.
This is what a party looks like in Malawi. Oh yes, did I say that? Happy St. Patrick's Day. It's March 17th, 2016. We're going to have a little bit of a piss up tonight, because it would be rude not to. I mean, it's St. Patrick's Day. I am boozing and blogging, so we'll see how this one turns out. Next day, after the heavy night of drinking, I somehow still managed to wake up at like 6:30 AM. That noise was those birds over there. Let's take a look, shall we? Okay, we won't take a look, I scared them off. Clearly, I need to work on my stealth a little bit more. So I've had mongooses stop by so far, and a couple of those birds, I didn't really get a good look. I think they might have been some kind of hornbill. I'll try and find out. Later that day, we got out a couple of paddle boards. I wasn't that good, I confess. For some reason, I thought I'd be awesome. I used to do longboarding a bit, so I thought I'd be really good at it. For some reason, it was just impossible to try and balance and paddle on top of.
You got to show me love.
Is actually in the process of going down at the minute, so there's a bit of a gnarly glare going on. Oh yes, that was the other thing that happened. We saw a snake, the local Malawians, making a bit of fuss, and as soon as I heard there was a snake, I was like, I have to see this. I decided to do the sensible thing, stick a GoPro right in its face. Don't worry, I've still got Old Faithful here, the diary, because I'm still forgetting it. It was a long time ago. Day 21. It was an early start. We had a 2-hour drive to the Mozambique border, and we got to a bush camp. Basically, we weren't going to spend any time in Mozambique, so nothing much really happened in Mozambique, but one good thing that did is I've been moaning that I thought my drone was broken. It turns out I'm a complete plonker. It wasn't broken at all. It just needed recalibrating. Basically, when you get a drone, you have to kind of do something called calibrating it, whereby you kind of flip the drone round and round, and somehow it's able to work out which way's up, which way's down, side to side, and all of that kind of thing. So in Mozambique, we got to the bush camp. There were loads of rocks around. We took ages trying to find a place to put the tent. There was just so much rocky ground. That was pretty much Mozambique for you. So a long driving day, but I got the drone working. So happy days, my friends. If you hear noise in the background, by the way, it's a couple of vervet monkeys. So I'll try and get them on film. Oh, it's lost a fur. Don't want to scare it too much. It's its back left foot, it's just missing the little hand paw. Anyway, we crossed the border from Mozambique to Zimbabwe. That was the slowest border crossing yet. That took 2.5 hours. Within about, I'm going to say 10 minutes of driving into Zimbabwe, we got stopped by a couple of police. So we're in Zimbabwe, and within about 5 minutes of being in Zimbabwe, our truck driver often got pulled over by a couple of corrupt cops. And I was like, why did they pull you over? What was the deal? And he said they pulled him over because he didn't have one of the seat belts that kind of goes across your torso. He just had that kind of waist seat belt. Anyway, they wanted $10 on the spot, corrupt police for it. So that's the first taste of Zimbabwe. They totally did him in for that and were like, yeah, you have to pay $10. And he was like, well, I've never been stopped before. He often's been, trucking and doing overland tours for years. I think maybe 20 odd years. We made our way down to Harare, the capital of Zimbabwe. We had a night planned, a night out. There was meant to be a few good clubs. We headed to a local club called, I'm going to say the Tin Roof, I think this club was called. Anyway, we all headed there in the back of a pickup truck. Got up, showered, went to the workshop, blah blah blah. The next day we went to Chimanimani National Park. You go up into the mountains, beautiful scenery. We actually did end up driving through like a flash flood, whereby for 5 minutes it just rained more than I have ever seen rain in my life. We stayed in a camp called Heaven Lodge, which was just outside the national park. That night a chap came out and played us some music, brilliant English as well, and his guitar playing and his music was just equally as good. The next day we went on a long hike. We went to Chimanimani National Park and had what was, I would say, not a tough hike but a long hike. It was about 12 hours of walking. That's not me exaggerating. We left at 8 in the morning. We got back at 7:30 in the evening. We started at base camp. We climbed up to, it wasn't the top, basically there's a load of mountains. You kind of climb up to this level where you can kind of choose between a couple of mountains. Fun fact, by the way, one of those mountains is called Ben Nevis. It's actually shorter than the one in the UK as well. My drone, although I do still need a fair bit of practice because I crashed it, so I'm not doing too well with the whole drone thing. I thought it was broke, it wasn't. I've crashed it, it might be broke now. I haven't tried again. I'll try in the next day, who knows. There's a bird of prey flying over me right now. I don't know if I can get No, sorry, I missed it. Our tour guide was fantastic. A proper like Rastafarian, basically. He had the hat, he had the whole works, and he was a great chilled out guy. He was 43 and he had more energy than all of us, and we are like in our 20s. There's a woodpecker. Now, you might not be able to see him. There he is. I haven't got my long lens, but you can see him there. Just knocking on the tree. I won't disturb him. He's having a happy time out there digging up some grubs. I'm blocking the sun perfectly with my head as well. We went to Red Wall Cave as well, which was awesome. I was so thirsty as well by then. Chelsea managed to drink both her water and all of mine by about midday. So I had nothing to drink and had been hiking now for about 4 or 5 hours. So we got to this cave, had some fresh water to drink. So fingers crossed I'm not going to get ill from that, seeing as the water was just dripping off the cave walls. I mean, the tour guide said it will be fine, so I trust him, it'll be all right. We went to the bubbling pool as well. It did have some awesome kind of bubbling sand, which, I mean, I have no idea how it's caused. It had tadpoles living in this little puddle, shall we call it, as well. So it can't be anything like sulfur dioxide or anything that's potent, because amphibians are famously known for not being very tolerable of pollutants of any kind, and these tadpoles were really big and happy as Larry. We went to a waterfall as well. Of course, I tried to climb precariously towards it to get some good footage, and nearly fell in doing the splits. Not intentionally, but trying to navigate over some rocks. I don't think I got my lunch. We made it, even though we nearly got bitten by like 2 snakes.
I still not come down the hill, but I would put my hand in a snake.
You fell on a snake, and then they were like, take the other route, it's safe. And then I nearly trod on a snake. I don't think it's going to be a spectacular sunset, unfortunately. I was hoping for a few pretty colours for the vlog, but we'll try again another time. There's plenty more of the trip to come. And so at the end, after 12 hours of walking and being pretty damn red, quite embarrassingly red, we just hit the sack, just went to bed. And that brings us to today. Yes, no, that doesn't bring us to today. I lie. That brings us to yesterday. Yesterday we went to somewhere that can't have been good, because I, honest to God, can't remember it at all. I feel like we just came here, but we didn't. Where did we go? Anyway, after yesterday, I think, we came here, and now we're at Antelope Park, where we're going to get a chance to get hands-on with lions and elephants. So, I know getting hands-on with lions is a bit controversial. Same with elephants. I haven't got a brilliant moral compass. I don't think, anyway. So one of the optional excursions here is to ride elephants, which Chelsea's completely against, and I do respect her for that. I find it really hard, though, not to want to ride an African elephant. I'll be honest, I still want to do it. So that's my little confession, so sorry about that. So I'm at a bit of a conflict of conscience at the minute. This is one of the places supported by Alert, which is one of the big lion charities, the biggest in Africa anyway. They support conservation of lions and reintroducing ones that have been captive bred for a few generations back into natural or semi-natural ecosystems. But yeah, that brings us to now. So I've summarised that as best I can. The bottle is pretty empty now, but happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm going to enjoy myself, and I will try and do the next video log a little bit faster than I did this one.
Don't you promise me the world, that I go.
Oh yes, I remember what they were. It was the Great Zimbabwe Ruins that we did yesterday. So we went to a national park and stayed there, which was pretty cool. Walked around the ruins. Basically, the Great Zimbabwe Ruins is where the country of Zimbabwe got its name, which is an ancient civilization that lived thousands of years ago, that were really advanced in African society terms back then. But that was actually really cool yesterday, so I have no idea why I couldn't remember that earlier when I was talking about it.
Guaranteed, so baby, if you want me, you got to show me love. Words are
just to finish off, here's some of the other little critters I've seen since my last video.